I'm very heartened that we're here. I am totally delighted that this meeting has been called, and I wish the place was jam-packed all the way down the street. We don't want GST, and clearly there are other ways of raising revenue, and yes, I think the fairest way is through income tax, a progressive taxation, but that it should be for all, not just for some, who have to carry others. Now, going back to GST, just 1 second, we've talked about how it might be administered, how it might be received. It won't be received well. I know a lot of people who are struggling now, and there is no GST. Living in Jersey, anyway, is like living in the most expensive place on the planet. And we already pay more for most goods and services than in the UK, where they have VAT. So it looks like we pay that plus anyway. If we want to buy a house, and we've got a normal amount of money, we can get a phone box. A lot of people are really and truly struggling, people I know. Young couples who have to do 2 and 3 jobs. Is this right? They have to leave their children. Then we start bellyaching that the children are running riot. Are you surprised? And then, of course, there's that wonderful idea. Let's have GST. So how many more jobs do they have to have? And where do young people go? And how do young couples and older couples hang on in there together when they are so tired that they're grumpy and they start shouting at each other? Is this doing our island any good? And what on earth for? So I would suggest that we say, no, we don't want GST. What part of no, we don't want GST is it difficult for me to understand? Which bit is so difficult? We do not want it. And I would think it might be a good idea if we put our heads together and say, how do we get thousands of people in the street saying, no thank you?
The comments you've made are just completely applaud. I think, I've got no problem with anything that you've said there at all. I think the bigger issue, which you've mentioned there, is how do we engage the wider populace now? It's not just voting for the next election, it's actually how we can stir up wider consensus so that we can get some change, because one of the reasons I'm here and sitting on this platform tonight is I don't think there's much going on in the way of democratic process in our island at the moment. I speak to the ministers on a regular basis, making these points very clear to them to their faces, but then nothing changes. I'm delighted that Alan Brecon and the Consumer Council are arranging a protest in the square on September the 13th? 8th. Well, I'll be there 5 days later. I will be there, and I think we've got to encourage as many people as possible to be there and make our feelings known. And that's all we can do.